Imagine if Bloodborne finally came to PC, except it's Pinocchio and it actually runs great on the Steam Deck. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out Lies of P on the Steam Deck OLED. I keep wanting to say Lies of Pi, but it is Lies of P. And it's a Souls-like action RPG with a dark twist on the Pinocchio tale. And the big question is, can this stylish, punishing Unreal Engine 4 Souls-like game run well enough on the Steam Deck to actually enjoy it? Let's find out. So Lies of P throws you into a gothic steampunk nightmare filled with puppets, plague, and brutal boss fights. You play as Pinocchio, yes, really that's what the P stands for, carving your way through cursed streets and unraveling a dark mystery tied to your origins. Now the core gameplay is very Souls-like, it has deliberate combat, dodges and parries, tight stuff in the management, and me absolutely sucking at the game. It also has weapon customization and upgrade systems, and it leans more toward Bloodborne style aggression than Elden Ring openness with a more focused level structure, but I wouldn't really know much about it because these games are really not my style, as you're gonna see from the following footage. I keep dying, but that doesn't stop me from actually testing it, and let's get into how it actually performs on the Steam Deck. Now the game is somewhat demanding. It came out in 2023, but it is Unreal Engine 4, which means that it is gonna run a lot better than some modern games, but it still has very detailed environments, particle effects, and big boss areas. But with the right tricks, it's actually very playable and very enjoyable. So I've got actually a few different scenarios and a few different settings, depending on what you're after. Now my recommended settings, I'm gonna start with these. For best visuals plus playability, basically the best balance that I found with a 60 FPS target is the following. Now I've actually enabled the Decky FrameGen mod, which is why you might be seeing the option to have DLSS in the settings menu. This isn't DLSS, this is basically FSR3. We're hijacking DLSS, turning it into FSR3. Now the game out of the box comes with FSR2. And between FSR2 and 3, there isn't a big difference in terms of performance, but I do think with FSR3 it looks slightly better. Some of the textures in game can be very fuzzy with FSR2, so that's why I've gone ahead and enabled FSR3. But if you don't want to deal with any of that, FSR2 will pretty much run the same and it should suffice. So with that explanation out of the way, I have set frame limit to 60 FPS and we have turned off VSync, we have turned off motion blur and anything like that. And the actual FSR, I've set that to balanced. You can actually go to quality as well, but you are going to drop a few frames. And between quality and balanced, it is a pretty minor difference. So just leave it at balanced. And for the actual graphic settings, most of these will be on high. So I have visibility set on high, anti-aliasing quality set to high. Now post-processing and shadow quality, I have set these to medium. With shadow quality, you may want to bump that down even to low. Texture quality can remain on high, effects quality on medium, vegetation quality high, shading quality, you can set that to medium or low if you're struggling. Volumetric fog quality and everything below that is set to high. Now the biggest performance drops in terms of setting would be post-processing, shadow, effects, and shading. So these are the ones that you want to turn down, and everything else can be pretty much set to high. And I have a boss battle in this footage. During actual fights, it will be between 55 and 60, more leaning towards 60, with some minor dips, but I think it's pretty stable. Now frame pacing can vary slightly in some areas, but settings should provide a pretty stable performance. Now there are some areas like the hotel, which is a hub area, where the frame rate will drop, but it's not an area where you really need the FPS to enjoy the gameplay. It's pretty much like a chill area. There's no fights there, so as soon as you go back to the streets with these settings, it should be a pretty stable 60 FPS. Now battery life on the OLED with these settings is around 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now the game can actually go above 60, doesn't quite reach 90 FPS on the OLED unless you set FSR to ultra performance, which really degrades the quality. But if you're aiming for something between 75 and 90 FPS, you can just turn everything to the lowest, and then you can set FSR either FSR 2 or 3 to performance or balanced, and this should get you to about 75 FPS. You can actually lock the game at 75 FPS. The actual game allows you to do that, and with these settings you can expect around 2 hours of battery life on the OLED, and just a little bit more FPS if you're looking to go above 60. Now, if you're looking to get the best battery life, I recommend setting FSR to quality, just so that it doesn't look bad. Everything else you can set to lowest, cap it to 30 FPS, and this will actually get you close to 5 hours on the OLED, which is pretty amazing for a game that looks like this. The game can actually be played offline as well, so if you are really desperate for battery, for example, if you're on a flight or something, this is definitely a good option. I do think that this is one of the games where you don't really necessarily suffer in terms of gameplay when you cap it to 30 FPS. Obviously 60 FPS will always be better, but this is still pretty playable at 30 FPS on the Steam Deck, and this is a very, very good option. Amazing battery life, really. You can also set some of the settings to medium or high and still target 30 FPS, and you can still enjoy a battery life of around 3 hours and 30 minutes, but have some visual fidelity as well. Overall, my best recommended settings would be the ones I recommend for 60 FPS, which is just a mix of medium and high, with FSR set to either balanced or quality. I found that this is a very good balance, and with these settings I can also drop the FPS to 30 and enjoy some more battery life. Now, performance on the LCD should be pretty similar, but you are obviously getting a much lower battery life at around an hour and a half. The game has full controller support and it works perfectly. Menus feel console native, button prompts adjust properly, and gameplay doesn't feel awkward. The settings menu is pretty solid, and I never had any issues trying to navigate it. I didn't have to use the trackpads or anything like that. Now, real quick before I end the video, if you're into Steam Deck performance breakdowns and setting guides, check out my Steam group and curator page. They're called SteamFlow, and I'll link them in the description below. We've got a growing community of deck players. When I review a game like this on video, I also post my review to Steam and to the curator group, so you can check a text version of that if you prefer. Definitely check it out. So, should you play Lies of P on the Steam Deck? Honestly, yeah. If you're into Souls-like and you want that Bloodborne energy on the go, this game nails it. It's surprisingly well optimized, looks great on the OLED screen, and you can run it at 60 FPS easily. It plays really well. I want to thank the developers for providing me with a key to test this game out. And if you found this video helpful, guys, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know in the comments if you have played this game, or what's your favorite Souls-like that actually works on the deck. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.